They are employees of the international holding company, but they are connected not only with work. They are citizens of different countries, but this makes their friendship more interesting. I have prepared for us very interesting program. If he prepares a very interesting program, mine will be more extreme. They are the seekers of new impressions, but their views on dress do not coincide, and they travel together to their companions' hometowns. All three have their own leisure plan in each country. Three friends, three countries, 3 different days. In today's program, bird hunter and ancient craft of berkutchi, boss ui, traditions of Kyrgyz culture, horse riding along mountain trails. I brought you to a significant place, Dungan Mosque in China style. The Dungan Mosque? The Dungan Mosque. In the Chinese style, such kinds of pagodas belong to Buddhist temples. The most important thing, guys, this mosque is built without a single nail, without any metal bundles. Without a single nail? At least we arrived, it would be cool to play paintball here. What paintball? This is the history of our ancestors, Karim. So friends, do you feel the smell of extreme? We're spending our 3rd day here in Kyrgyzstan. During this time, we plan to see the country of the Rocky Mountains in all its diversity. It is clear that there is not much time, but each of us must make up our own program, the most informative. The first day of Kyrgyz travel was organized by Karim. The initiator of yesterday's tour was Yerkebulan, our history lover. And frankly, at first his program seemed boring to the guys. Did you say something about history? But I can see all the stones here. I would rather sleep instead of his. However, soon we realized that we were mistaken, because we were in a unique place, an open-air museum, a museum of petroglyphs. This site is full of dozens of huge boulders. Every stone here is a carrier of information. Rock paintings date from the 8th century BC, and they contain all the material on the basis of which the history of nomadic peoples was compiled. I think this is just the first Instagram, yes? The first Instagram you said, Bilek? Instagram of the 8th century. The first Instagram is probably the Jero photo. Exhausting heat persistently pursued us these days. However, your Yerkebulan showed no sympathy on us and we have not made a stop. Why do we want to sleep? We agreed that each of us will participate in all programs. In short, we obediently followed him and waited. When will be a surprise? It was just awesome. I'm speechless. I did not believe in such things before. But as if the truth goes through it. Well, I cannot imagine just that this boy will learn by heart all parts of Epos. Unbelievable. Yeah. You surprised me. Yerkebulan really managed to impress the whole crew. We seem to fall under hypnosis. This is impossible to forget, so it won't be easy for our third friend. Today will be a tough day for him. Guys, this story, well, it's very interesting. Let's move on to the most action-oriented one, right? Kyrgyzstan is a country of high mountains. At least 1/4 of its lands are occupied by picturesque mountain ranges, bubbling rivers, underground springs. And apparently, now we will make a real trip. Jibek prepared a map in advance and decided as a real seeker to independently continue the way to Ail. This is how small villages are called here. On a winding mountain path, we met a local resident. Without any questions, he leads us to the nearest Ail. Here we are in Ail. How is Jibek going to surprise us? Now we will see a real hunt with a golden eagle. Well, shall we go? Cool, of course. Only Jibek could come up with such entertainment in the middle of the mountains. In our company, a cheerful spirit of excitement and the feeling of a male fraternity immediately woke up. This golden eagle is berkutchi bekren. For example, if they have a yellow here, then they have a blue one. Their wool is blue and is very flexible. There is a golden eagle karachik. And that's what I saw. If others have great chests, then karachik has black-colored one. In olden times, the old people said, karachik carry your eye cup. And there is also golden eagle karjanir. If you don't know your karage, why couldn't you hunt with karjanir, they said. Here, these golden eagles were in Kyrgyz mountains. There are 6 species of the golden eagle family in the world. According to the Aksakals, in the old days, one golden eagle could feed a whole Ail. Therefore, the craft of a man who turns the baby golden eagle into earner was well regarded. And they call the coach of the golden eagles as berkutchi. Can you ask from Baike that I am fond of sports, various extreme activities? So are the competitions for the berkutchi? Do they compete among them? On the feast, we can show masterclass hunting from the golden eagle. But in my opinion, you should not make a golden eagle participate in the competitions. He eats from the hand, and after he can feed himself. To make become a kind of sport is not right. There is no such kind of sport. They can only demonstrate at big events, on wedding parties. On wedding parties? Yes, at events. How they let eagle go in the air, but there is no such kind of sport because otherwise people will have to tame them. Yes, it will be necessary to completely tame. That's a big disadvantage for the birds themselves because in the future when they are in the wild, they will not be able to survive. Experienced berkutchi meant that the hunting bird, the golden eagle, lives about 50 years, and as soon as the feathered predator turns 20 years old, it is released to freedom. Okay, was it born in captivity? In captivity, you caught it when it was small. We climb on the rocks. We climb on the rocks of 40-50 meters. Then we use ropes to go down. After we take one of them from the nest. And before we take it, we will let go. And for this, we need another year ahead to prepare for a free life. To do this, it is necessary to feed them well. For this, it is necessary to change, to get rid of old feathers. You let it go for a year. It flies, lives on its own. We prepare for the next year, and next spring we will let them go. True berkutchi protects his bird and takes care of it, and methods of the ancient art of hunting and taming of proud birds are kept in the strictest secrecy. However, we were able to convince the berkutchi to reveal the veil of secrecy for us. Hunting with golden eagles was very successful. We did not just see the strength and agility of these birds in hunting, we learned a lot of interesting things about the peculiarities of the ancient craft. At the same time, everyone, while listening to berkutchi, simultaneously felt a kind of contact with nature, as if everything that surrounded us was breathing with us. This sensation did not disappear at the second point of the mountain hike. Here in general you wanted harmony with nature, but Erko loves history. Look, it is yurt. You know Kyrgyz are nomadic people. And now we will build a yurt. Bos Uy is a portable dwelling of nomads, a symbol of Kyrgyz culture, which is over 2,000 years old. To feel the full harmony, I invited people here who knows everything, who can explain us. Our Ata, he will tell us the whole story, how it happened, and how it's going. To erect the Kyrgyz yurt Bos Uy, it is necessary to follow all prescribed traditions and rules. The first thing is put a door jamb, and a door is hung, and already around it wooden gratings. Walls of the hearth are set, kerege, tunduk, a wooden circle in the upper part of the yurt. In Kazakh it means shanurag, connects with kerege thanks to long curved poles. It is depicted in the center of the flag of Kyrgyzstan. See, and you do not need to nail. We can put kerege tie with a thread. There are special joints, as you see. Yes, knots are fastened here with a very strong rope, which is called well as cord, especially for these walls, and at joint points. Yes, they're very tightly wrapped around the two walls. That is, you cannot wrap in random order. It is necessary to follow the rules. This is specifically done so that the kerege cannot uncover itself or that it does not bend. According to popular belief, sacred patterns are personified by various kind forces, who were politely invited into a beautifully decorated yurt. That is why the kerege is covered with ornamental felt and mats. In Kazakhstan, we also build yurts. Yes, and it seems to me that for every Kazakh this is like a gene code in the blood. Every Kazakh will be able to do this as a subconscious. It is in the blood. People can quickly assemble, erect a yurt. I like it. Yes, they are calling us. They're waiting. There is one more layer. Come on, come on. In order to keep the heat in the new house, the yurt is covered with pieces of felt of various shapes and sizes and is tied with narrow embroidered strips and cords. The diameter of the average yurt is about 5 meters. The height is 3.5 meters. The yurt installation takes about an hour. Kyrgyz living in Mountain Ayil are not only a cheerful but also talented people. And life among such beauty in the open air without city fuss reveals in a person the best aspects such as sincerity, good nature, generosity. Our new friends invited us to their yurt. We'll look at the interior with curiosity. How many times in your life did you erect a yurt? A lot. A huge amount of them. And when did you build your first yurt? How old were you? It was in 1972. I started in the 8th grade. Since that time, I am engaged in yurt. By details of decoration, everyday life, it is easy to imagine a picture of the daily life of the owners. Our career managed to get into the role and started to imagine how it would be look like in everyday life. This is what we're cleaning. If you clean it with a broom, it will become dirty and traces will remain. It's softer. Yes, you must clean this yurt. It looks like 10 square meters. Well, 12, and you have to fulfill the house-holding duties and even feed the children, even horses, and prepare meals, and respect your husband. So the Kyrgyz women had a lot of things to do. This is a Kyrgyz saddle. It is made from the horn of a cow or a bull. All this I do with my own hands. Is saddle made of the bones? This saddle is made of bones. That's all I do myself. Did you do it yourself? Yes. I bought some of the pieces, and the rest I did myself. The skin here is the basmail. So, friends, this is kamshi handmade. Honestly, these are the intertwining. They did it all by hands. Let's this down, But it seems to be an antelope. It turns out pure leather. Here are the weaves. Look, it's all done by hand. Mistake. There is nothing that is made at factory. Listen, I'll tell you. If people did not obey, they will hit with it. Let me show. Real extreme is in my hands. You come to your yurt, you come home, the whole day you graze horse, a sheep, and your wife told you something irritating. No, Saul, just go to the kamshi, get closer to it, and that is all. Your wife is kind again. Of course, in 21st century, you should not expect that. By the way, the interior of the yurt is another story. According to modern interior designers, the dwelling is divided into several functional zones. The place opposite the entrance to the yurt is the most honorable. Here, honorable guests or elders sit. On the chests, blankets, carpets for clothing were put. The higher the stag, the more prosperous the owners of the yurt are. There is nothing necessary in a yurt. Each thing has its own purpose. National yurt is divided into two halves. On the right, it's like they said is the male part. They are saddles, berkutchi, and all the things that are related to men. On the left are all the women's utensils. These are kitchen utensils, food accessories, as well as all food is stored there. And after that, when food is stored, it's covered with a separate material. This is sack for utensils. For making carpets, and they also called alakis. Only natural wool products are used. That is, natural wool felt. It is very warm, protects from cold. It is pressed through an incredible work, mostly incredible female labor that creates it all. All sew their own clothes, and most of this was worn during the cold season. This is real sheep's wool. Real sheep's wool. As we're a mountainous country, we have a lot in clothes, and in general, in the life of symbols, which symbolize the high mountains. By the way, almost the most important fragment in the decoration of the Kyrgyz yurt from time immemorial is horse ammunition. In the history of the Kyrgyz, horse breeding is an ancient occupation. And great respect for this animal is shown in the fact that the owners of the yurt encrusted and decorated horse equipment in many different ways and exhibited them. Thank you for giving this knowledge, this wisdom of the ages. As your grandfather told you, you will give it to your grandchildren, and this will go on and on. I made a saddle. This berkutchi with my own hands. But my grandson does not know anything, and some guys taught, and we taught. They can do it already. Have you taught your children? No, they do not want. They do not want to? Yes, others have already been taught. They continue doing. If you go to Karakol, there is a master can make a saddle of good quality. Alik Darhan can do. I also taught them. Are these your followers? Yes, apprentices, they do this. The stirrups. They can make stirrups. The bridles do, the spoons. All can be done by Alik. They are my apprentices. That's how you throw a young guy into nature somewhere. Now the young people will not survive absolutely. And make a bridle with their own hands, make a saddle, make stirrups, on which you go to graze your cattle. This is really cool. This is for real. So study your history. At least if you do not do it, look how it's done. Show your interest. Thank you very much, Mastak Baike. Your yurt has become very nice, and I also help to do it with my friends. The cognitive part of the program is completed, and active leisure comes to replace it. You have been asking what kind of nature, what harmony is there. It's hard to tell in words. You need to see it. Here, guys, see what beauty surrounds us. What mountain clean air is it? This is the Karakol Gorge. And now we will ride on horses. Everything is wonderful, however, it's time to make a halt. First of all, for Kebrolan's sake. He's very tired and hungry. Our urban historian is usual in the spotlight. His deep relationship to life and sensitivity to everything that has happened has long become a talk of the town. So sometimes we play a trick on him, noticing some changes in his behavior. Well, tell us about your impressions. Very beautiful. In such a nature, one does not even want to share anything. Share your impressions or share your bread. He has a good appetite. You guys should try it. That's right, here in the local places. And this beautiful place, in the open air. You feel like a historian who is directly charged with drive and positive, right? In these high spirits we begin to discuss the results of the day. What will we remember most of all? I was very surprised when the eagle, it turns out the rabbit was released and the golden eagle berkutchi. And it turns out it flies, rises, sees a victim and makes a sharp turn, stops and catches the victim, immediately breaks his back. Nothing left, not even bones. Certainly sorry for the rabbit, but you can do nothing. It is the law of the nature. These are laws of nature, so there is nothing to be done about it. As for the exciting assembly of the Kyrgyz yurt, now we can always tell something on this topic. And there are yurts in Kazakhstan, we're building in Kazakhstan. So this is not entirely new for me, but nevertheless the Kyrgyz yurt is still different from Kazakh. I'm glad that I learned something new. I was enjoying the nature, Beleg. I'm going to emphasize not you, Beleg, but the nature of Kyrgyzstan. I will say Kyrgyzstan has a huge advantage. The nature is pristine, beautiful. Each place does not look like the other. So I think that your day was a success. Today we found with your pros common points of contact. You love an active way of life. I love extreme adrenaline emotions, and it was here that we crossed with your interests. So you can expect from me high score, high marks. Well, Beleg has every chance to get the title of the best guide in our Kyrgyz voyage. However, each of us can expect to win. After all, we spent all these days in an atmosphere of wonder and delight. So, choosing a contest leader will be very, very difficult. However, let us not puzzle over the issue, because there is still the final day of our stay in Kyrgyzstan. Right now, we will go to the relaxation zone. They are waiting for us in a popular hotel, which is famous for underground springs of mineral waters. There we will sum up the results of the Kyrgyz trip.